Hello. Continuing on with our work in area and volume, we're going to be looking at spheres today. So a sphere is just the shape of a football or basketball, and the difficulty of drawing it in two dimensions is that it just looks like a circle. So I've put in some dashed lines here for our complete sphere to try and show you roughly what it would look like. And we have a radius of a sphere going from the center out to the edge of the sphere. So from the center of the football out to the surface of the football is going to be a radius, just like we had for when we were dealing with cylinders or circles earlier on. Now, the volume of our sphere is 4 over 3, a fraction 4 over 3 multiplied by pi multiplied by the radius cubed. And the surface area, the curved surface area all the way around of our football, of our sphere, is going to be 4 multiplied by pi multiplied by r squared. Now, I've chosen to do question 9 on page 254 to give you an example of this. This has half a sphere, so we've chopped a sphere in half. So chopped a marble in half or something like that. So we have half of a sphere here. So if you ever see the word hemisphere, it just means half a sphere. So we have half of a sphere as our curved bit here, and if we look at the shape on top here, we have a circle, which is going to become relevant in part 2. But essentially, you have a sphere, and we have chopped it in two. So we have half of this volume. So once we recognize that, the volume in part 1, when we know our radius is going to be 5, we're going to have half of our normal formula, 4 over 3 pi r cubed. And we're careful in this question, it tells us to give our answer in terms of pi. That means pi, this symbol, will appear in the final answer. So we are not going to put it in when we're putting numbers into our calculator. There is a pi button on our calculator. We're not going to use it in this question. We're going to treat pi like it was an x, kind of. So when you're putting numbers in the calculator, you just don't put in the number pi, and you're going to write pi next to your final number answer. Now, let's put in our radius of 5. So we're going to have a half multiplied by 4 over 3 pi on 5 cubed. And anything we sub in, we always put in brackets. We write it exactly like this on our calculator, except that we aren't going to put in pi. So into our calculator now, we're going to put a half multiplied by 4 over 3 multiplied by 5 cubed. And again, not putting in pi because we're asked for pi as part of our final answer. When we put those three things multiplied together into our calculator, we're going to get 83.33 recurring. So I'm going to round that to 2 decimal places. And I remember that because I didn't put pi into my calculator, I need to put that symbol there now. So this multiplied by pi is my final answer, and I must give my units. It's a volume, so it's going to be centimeters cubed. Volume is centimeters cubed, or meters cubed, or units cubed. Now, part 2 asks us for the surface area of our hemisphere. Now we're told that it's a solid hemisphere, so we have half of a sphere for our curved bit around here, and then on top, where we've chopped it, we have the area of a disc, of a circle. So the top of our cut in half marble is just a circle, and then we have half of a sphere for the curved part of the area. So the surface area is going to be half of a sphere, and we know that the surface area of a normal sphere is pi or 4 pi r squared. This is the half, this is the sphere part, plus the area of a circle. The top of our marble, of our cut marble, is going to be the shape of a circle, and it has the same radius. So it's going to be pi r squared, and that's the circle. on top. Now, so we have half of a normal sphere plus the circle on the top surface of our cut marble. Now we have everything we need. We know that R is 5. We've written that down already. So we have a half multiplied by 4. And again, in this question, they ask us to leave pi in our final answer. So we're not going to sub in, we're not going to put pi into our calculators. 5 squared. Anything we sub in goes in brackets. So you can see I've put 5 in brackets where there was a radius, where there was an or. And I'm going to do that here as well. It's the same radius. Always in brackets. When I put that into my calculator, I get 75 pi. And I'm dealing with a surface area, so area is going to be centimeters squared, my unit squared for an area. So those two formula there are all we need at the moment.